Prime Minister Modi chairs a key meeting with cabinet ministers. Here's a big update coming in as a key meeting with cabinet ministers has just begun as Prime Minister Modi chairing that meeting. And there you have it, first visuals and images coming in of Prime Minister Modi chairing a key meet with the cabinet ministers. He's just returned to India after a hectic 6-day trip, a state tour to the United States for 4 days and then for almost 5 in fact, and then to Egypt. In fact, Prime Minister Modi is now meeting with the union ministers. A lot of discussions on the card. We know that there are several issues that need to be taken up at this point. Also, barely a few months into several state elections coming up. Apart from that, a few policy discussions as well is likely on the cards. Is Prime Minister Modi chairing this very cabinet meeting with the ministers. We see Home Minister Amit Shah, Nirmala Sitharaman, Prime Minister Modi, of course, Hardeep Singh Puri, a few of the union ministers who we see all seated right beside Modi. Let me cut across to Paulami joining us on the phone line. Paulami, tell us more on this important cabinet meeting as Prime Minister Modi, right after he arrives from his foreign tour, holds a meeting with union ministers.
Well, the Prime Minister is, of course, taking stock of certain developments, of course, that have taken place. The ministers were present in that meeting, apprising him about important developments, including, of course, the Home Minister who's present over there in that meeting, Mr. Amit Shah, of course, apprising him on internal security issues, as well as the all-party meeting that took place on the subject of Manipur and the crisis in Manipur that recently took place. And then, of course, there was the meeting that he had subsequent to that with the Chief Minister of Manipur, who flew down just for that meeting with the Home Minister yesterday. And he was then, of course, apprised about the situation on the ground in Manipur. And, of course, directives were given to him by the Home Minister as to what the centre expects from the state government of Manipur in terms of trying to contain the situation. Though, of course, the Chief Minister said that after the 13th of June, there have been no casualties in Manipur, but of course he was told that the centre is watching the situation very closely and the peace process and the dialogue between the two communities that are at loggerheads and engaged in ethnic clashes in Manipur needs to continue. So the Home Minister there, of course, because the Prime Minister has been away for close to about a week, is apprising him of all of those developments that have taken place in his absence, including, of course, the Finance Minister who's present in this meeting, as well as the Minister for Oil and Petroleum and Housing and Urban Development, Hardeep Puri, as well as Prime Minister's office officials.
All right. Paulami, a quick word on who are those who are present there. We see Nirmala Sitharaman, Home Minister Amit Shah, Hardeep Singh Puri, a few of the other ministers. Tell us who's seated there and again, what's on the agenda. There are a lot of state elections also coming up. Do you believe that there would be any mention and reference and discussion about the upcoming elections?
Well, at the moment, this is not a political meeting. This is a meeting concerning the government's what's on the government's agenda, because this is, of course, to apprise the Prime Minister about the situation, since, of course, especially, like I said, specific to Manipur as well, because the Home Minister is present over there. So because he's been away, he usually has a stock-taking meeting of this kind when he's back. This is par for the course as far as the Prime Minister is concerned, because every time he's away for a few days, more than a few days, on an international tour, he comes back and he's given a report by crucial ministries which have seen, of course, developments over the time that he's been away. So this, of course, includes the Home Ministry. The Home Minister, of course, very religiously, of course, prizes him on the internal security situation. So that has always been the case. But this time, of course, like I said, the Manipur issue has been very critical, because in the absence of the Prime Minister while he's been away, there was an all-party meeting as well, which the Home Minister chaired, and he, of course, was given various suggestions by various parties that were present in that meeting. Some of them, of course, saying that Biren Singh, the Chief Minister of Manipur, is completely unable to handle the situation, and there should be a change in the top seat in Manipur as well, of course, putting that kind of pressure. Some of them, including the Trinamool Congress, demanding that an all-party delegation be sent to Manipur within the week as well. So various suggestions, of course, came in for the government as to how they should be handling this crisis, which has been going on for close to about a month and over now. This is close to about 2 months right now that we're speaking about. So these were some of the critical things that happened at the time that the Prime Minister was away on his two-nation tour, and he's being apprised of the same.
All right. Pauline, Prime Minister has just about arrived from Egypt, United States, quite a long tour, and now he's back in action here. You say that Manipur is going to be on the top agenda at this meeting. There will be discussions extensively on Manipur. What more is at work at this point? Speaking of Manipur itself, we believe that law and order see some kind of stability, some semblance that's noticed in Manipur after central forces have been deployed. This is the news we hear in the latest.
That's right. As far as Manipur is concerned, this has been the biggest challenge as far as the central government is concerned, because there's a lot of criticism coming in for the central government and the state government as far as the ongoing crisis in Manipur is concerned, because things... there was expectation that after the Home Minister, of course, visits the state of Manipur, he was there on a 3-day visit, things would be brought under control. But the ethnic clashes continue. There is violence as well. Several groups have come to Delhi in order to, of course, seek meetings with the Prime Minister, meet with the Home Minister as well. Some of them met with Rajnath Singh, with Nirmala Sitharaman as well. She's, of course, in that meeting with the Prime Minister right now. He's also held some meetings with some of these representative groups who've come from Manipur in order to, of course, seek help and urgent help from the central government in trying to bring this crisis to an end. So all of this, of course, is mounting a lot of pressure on the central government. Of course, the opposition is criticizing the Prime Minister for not having spoken a word about the crisis in Manipur or even engaged with any of the representatives who spent days in Delhi waiting for an appointment with the Prime Minister before he went away to the United States and Egypt. So there is a lot of pressure on the central government and, of course, on the state government. Many opposition groups saying that the Chief Minister has been completely incompetent in handling the situation. It is his governance which has allowed for things to escalate to the point that they haven't been contained almost 2 months down the line as well. So there's a lot of pressure on the central government to try and handle the situation better. And now, of course, opposition parties are mounting pressure, saying send an all-party delegation in to Manipur as well. And this pressure, Nabila, will only escalate as soon as, of course, in the run-up to the monsoon session of Parliament, and expect the monsoon session of Parliament being stalled by the opposition seeking answers from the central government on their handling of the Manipur situation.